Let me ask you a question. Is it important for you to learn more about medicinal herbs to be more self-reliant? I think it's extremely important for the homesteader, but honestly, for anyone who wants to take control of their health and rely less on the mainstream system and be prepared for whatever comes our way. In this video, I'm sharing my must-have herbs for our homestead. Herbs that are easy to grow with multi-purposes for humans and farm animals. These are the plants that I don't go a season without. Be sure to stick around towards the end of this video and I'll show you some native plants that grow in our area and maybe even yours that you can wildcraft and their uses that you've probably never heard of before. I'm going to start with Calendula. You hear a lot about Calendula and for a good reason. The petals can be thrown in salads, you can infuse it in oil, vinegars, honey, you can use it as a foot soak. It's excellent for the pollinators and the list goes on and on. Calendula is my first go-to when making salves. I make sure that I plant plenty of it during the growing season and harvest plenty of it, dry it, so that I can use it for making salves for our family as well as our animals. Calendula speeds up tissue regeneration, reduces inflammation, calms irritated or inflamed skin. It's an antimicrobial, prevents infection in cuts, scrapes, and minor burns. It soothes eczema, dermatitis, and rashes. It's a great mouthwash after dental work. Calendula also supports the lymphatic system, but in order for it to work, you actually have to move your body. Get out in the garden, take a walk, move that body around, it'll work a lot better. Calendula is excellent added to your herb mix for your chickens because it's an antimicrobial. It helps with the chicken's immune system. It also helps your chickens fight off infections and it promotes healthy skin and feathers. Calendula salve is great for goats' udders if they're dry or cracked. Add some comfrey and some chickweed to it and you've got a great salve. Even if you're not growing calendula for medicinal purposes, it's excellent for the garden's ecosystem, attracting bees, butterflies, hoverflies, and ladybugs. Lemonbalm is one of my favorite herbs for the nervous system, whether it be anxiety, stress, irritability, or restlessness, and it's great for children or adults. For such a simple herb, Lemonbalm is a strong antiviral. And if you drink the tea of Lemonbalm after dinner, that helps ease the digestive system. It also lifts your mood and gives you mental clarity. You can make a tea with your Lemonbalm and use that in replacement of water for your chickens for respiratory health. If you combine Lemonbalm with chamomile, then that's really great for people who have insomnia. One of the things that we really like to do around here is to raise our bees naturally. By growing Lemonbalm around the hives, that can create a healthier hive. Once a week, I'll take some Lemonbalm leaves and I'll just take and crush it and rub it right across the entrance of the beehive. And this really helps prevent varroa mites. Here's a little tidbit for you. Lemonbalm's Latin name is Melissa. And Melissa comes from Greek, which means honeybee. So when you're using Lemonbalm's full name, Melissa officinalis, you're basically saying medicinal bee plant. It was the traditional plant used for bees. I'm sharing with you the herbs that we use personally here on our farm for us and our animals. You'll have to do research for these herbs for yourself, but don't forget to use your own intuition as well. Chamomile is not only beautiful in the garden, but it also attracts many beneficial insects. It's also restorative, calming, and gentle. It's a soothing nervine that reduces stress, irritability, and anxiousness. It supports restful sleep. Being a mild sedative, it helps with falling asleep and staying asleep, and it's safe for kids and adults. It eases digestive upset. It's an anti-inflammatory and an antimicrobial, and it gives you some immune support. You can make a tea with the chamomile flowers, either dried or fresh. It's traditionally used for aiding in digestion, relaxation, and sleep. Chamomile is excellent for soothing irritated eyes. Just make a chamomile tea just like you would if you were going to drink it. Dip a cloth in that warm tea and place it over your eye for about 10 or 15 minutes. Dried chamomile is also excellent when you add it to your chicken's herbal nesting box blends. That same tea that you use on yourself can be used on your livestock and poultry. Just use it as an eye wash instead. Yarrow, it's a wound healing powerhouse. From stopping bleeding to cleaning out wounds, Yarrow is prized in my garden. Yarrow stops bleeding fast when used topically on cuts or scrapes. It reduces inflammation and speeds up tissue regeneration. Combine it with elderflower and peppermint for a flu tea. It improves blood flow and strengthens blood vessels. I've used this multiple times for our goats for cuts and scrapes. And one thing that I really like is to powder this down after it's been dried, and I sprinkle it over the backs of chickens that have been pecked at. Yarrow can also be used as a natural fly repellent. Add the dried leaves to your animal's bedding. Yarrow is great for respiratory support for both humans and animals. As you can see, many of these herbs have a crossover. What's good for humans a lot of times is good for the animals as well. In the garden, yarrow attracts predatory insects like lacewings, parasitic wasps, and ladybugs. See if you can figure out this next herb before I mention its name. I don't necessarily plant it here on our homestead. It reseeds itself readily in pots, in the garden, and in the lawn. And I really am happy that it does because it's such a useful herb. When we have a bee sting, it pulls out that sting. It's great for pulling out splinters. It's great for mosquito bites as well as spider bites. Do you have it figured out yet? It's plantain. This herb is also great for your chickens because it's a mild anti-parasitic. Works for the goats too, and they can eat plenty of it free range, or you can toss it into their coop or in their food. It's also great for the soil, breaking up hard compacted soil, and oftentimes you'll find it in those compacted areas for that purpose. You can also take those leaves and chop and drop to improve the tilth of the soil and just use them as a natural mulch. Comfrey is another one of those must-have herbs that we have on our homestead. It's great for skin repair and cell regeneration. It makes one of the best healing salves that I've ever used. The one thing about it is it heals so fast, you got to make sure that you have a clean wound, that there's no infection, because it can actually encapsulate that infection, making the problem only worse. Clean wounds only for using this type of salve. It's also known as knit bone in folk medicine. It was used to heal fractures, sprains, and tendon injuries. When planted in the garden, its deep roots mine nutrients, especially potassium, calcium, and nitrogen, and bring them to the surface. Leaves can be used as fertilizer, mulch, or even a compost booster. Comfrey is an excellent soil builder. It improves soil structure, aeration, and microbial life. Oftentimes it's used in permaculture under fruit trees or as a living mulch. I'll take these little flowers off and I'll put them in our salads. If you suck on the little flowers, they taste like honey. We grow elderberry for obvious reasons. It's an excellent immune booster during the cold and flu season. It's high in vitamin C's, antioxidants, and flavonoids. I'll turn the berries into an elderberry syrup that's excellent for coughs and congestion. It also helps you get over these colds and flus faster. Then I like to take the flowers and I'll infuse those in oil and make a light natural sunscreen. Peppermint is one of my favorite herbs to grow. I grow it around our frog pond here because I don't care if it takes off. One thing about it is it'll send runners and it'll go all over throughout your yard. So you don't want to be planting it in your vegetable garden. But out here, I absolutely don't mind. And I can harvest as much as I want. Peppermint's excellent to ease headaches. It's also great for the sinuses and the digestive tract. Peppermint tea can help with motion sickness. And honestly, I love peppermint in any of my tea blends. It's another excellent herb to put in your nesting box mix for your chickens. And it's also great to grow around your chicken coops to help repel insects. Mullien is another plant that we welcome in our garden and oftentimes can be wildcrafted, so you don't even have to grow it in your own garden. The soft leaves are what you use to make a tea that's an excellent lung tonic. It also grows this straight up stalk with yellow flowers going around it, and those beautiful yellow flowers attract pollinators, but they also have high medicinal benefits for the ears. Infuse them in oil, add some garlic to it, and they're great for warding off infections. Echinacea is an excellent immune-boosting stimulant. It's an antiviral and antimicrobial. You can use all parts, but the roots are the best, and you can't harvest them for a few years, and you want to harvest them lightly once you do start to harvest. It's also an excellent pollinator plant, excellent for bees, butterflies, and it's just beautiful in the garden. You can sprinkle dried leaves and roots over the top of your animal's feed, chickens, goats, turkeys, and it'll do the same thing that it does for them as it does for us. Nettle, to me, is a must-have herb to have on the homestead. It's a mineral-rich superfood. It's loaded with iron, calcium, magnesium, silica, and vitamins A, C, K. It's a perfect spring tonic for rebuilding the body after winter. It strengthens hair, nails, bones, and teeth. Because nettle is a mineral-rich superfood, it boosts energy and your adrenals. It's excellent for seasonal allergies, especially when it's freeze-dried. Nettle's one of my favorite plants on the homestead to make a fertilizer tea out of because it's so mineral-rich. It's excellent for the vegetable garden. Beebalm is probably my favorite flowering herb. It has such a beautiful flower and it attracts all types of pollinators, especially the bumblebees and the hummingbirds as well. I love it because it's an antimicrobial, and I'll take those flowers and I'll infuse that in honey. And I'll use that during the winter time if I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold or I have a sore throat. Because it's an antimicrobial, it knocks that out really quick. I'll just take that honey and I'll take a spoonful of it, or I'll just put it in a cup of tea. It's excellent and it works really good. Beyond the homestead, there is wildcrafting for medicinal herbs and useful plants.
Okay, so this is a pinyon pine, and right here is the sap of that pinyon pine, usually from a wound or something. And this is kind of a good find. This here I'll melt down and I'll mix it with some beeswax and maybe even an infused oil and make a healing salve with this. This is really great if you can find a couple of clumps like this, because it makes it really easy to gather when you get clumps like this. It's super soft and it can be really sticky. This one's kind of dry on the outside, so it's easy to handle. But usually it's super sticky and hard to clean off. And it smells so good. Makes some of the best salve out there for healing.
The resin from pinyon pine can be melted into a powerful antiseptic salve used for cuts, scrapes, and drawing out infection. Plus, it smells incredible. Pinyon pine also provides a food source of pine nuts.
This is chaparral, also known as creosote and greasewood. When you crinkle up the leaves a little bit and you smell it, it smells like fresh rain. I love the smell of it. It's got a real pretty sheen to it. And this year, they're not as full as they usually are, but it's just a beautiful plant that grows here in the desert.
Chaparral can be infused into oil to make a fungal fighting salve, and it's traditionally used for detoxifying the body and skin issues. Yerba Santa, a beloved herb of the Southwest, is used to loosen chest congestion, ease asthma, and can be made into a lung tonic tea.
That right there is a young Yerba Santa. They have that greasy look to them. They're obviously very stressed because of the drought. But this one's been used. It's really great for colds and flus. And it's just a wild one that grows, and it's drought tolerant, but our drought's pretty extreme right now.
Manzanita leaves and bark can be made into a mild astringent for urinary tract support. And the berries can be eaten or made into cider. It's also known as little apple.
This little plant here is usually a lot bigger than this, but this is Brigham tea, also known as Mormon tea.
Brigham tea, also known as Mormon tea, is a desert plant that acts as a natural decongestant and mild stimulant, traditionally brewed into a tea for colds and sinus relief.
So this is live oak, and they get the little acorns on them here. This one's really tiny, and this is due to our drought. Typically, you'll get the size. Here's one of the little acorn caps. So that's the typical size, and so you can see the difference of what drought's doing to us here. But anyways, they're just a low-growing, really spiny, prickly leaves, and they are an oak shape, but they don't typically get more than about 6 foot tall where we're at. aspens are such a super cool tree because they actually have a film on them, like you can see here, that's a natural yeast. And you can actually use this yeast to make your bread, and it'll help your bread to rise. And you could just take your dough and you could actually knead it right on the face of the aspen tree.
That same bloom or powdery film can be used as a sunscreen. Simply wipe it off the tree and rub it on your skin.
Now the side that faces the sun is going to have a higher amount of yeast than it does on the north side, just because the sun kind of activates it. But this has got two really cool uses.
Learning herbs takes time and practice, and I suggest that you start out small. One of the things that helped me out the best when I was learning herbology was plant ID cards. And I've created 20 simple, easy to follow ID cards with a plant description, a picture, how to use them, along with some recipes. And as I add to that library, you'll get it for free. And I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in learning more about herbs. I really hope you had fun learning about herbs today, and I really hope it piques some interest. May God bless you, and I'll see you in our next video. What? That's not the way it was supposed to be worded. It goes into hoba and plant ED cards.
Yeah.
You got ED? I'm like, you're acting like a doofus. If you use that, pull out mosquito bites, make it their health, and rely less on the mainstream media. Beneficial predatory insects. I gotta quit saying beneficiary. That's like, you know, your bug died and somebody gets a benefit from it. Beebalm is one of my most... Did you see the pretty poppies over there?
Other stuff.
Yep. Squirrel. And
Cheers.